Cynthia, what I wanted to start with was just a little bit of your background. Obviously, a number of people know a little bit about it, but if you want to just tell me kind of what some of your earliest influences were for kind of getting into motorsports and becoming an adrenaline junkie, we can just kind of go from there.
Yeah, so I did not start really young racing. I was 18 years old, but I was always with my dad in the garage. My dad used to bring me to all kind of race. We used to go to Daytona to see NASCAR. We used to go see dirt bike racing, snowmobile. And I was like the little girl on the side of the track, and I would just love the smell of the fuel and the racing adrenaline. And when I was 18, I bought my first dirt bike, and right away I went to racing, and I just fell in love with, the industry and the adrenaline on the gate. And like, I'm super competitive, and it just became like a huge passion for me. So I raced for a couple of years. I got injured pretty bad. I had the surgery on my shoulder, my knee, and it was pretty hard to make a living out of motocross too. So I started racing buggies. I did that for 2 years. They say with the age come the cage, so I was a little bit more safe. I did love it too, but in the meantime, I kind of met some people in the monster truck industry, and I got the chance to go at the Monster Jam World Final in Las Vegas. And at that moment, I was hooked. I want to be part of it, and I made it happen. I mean, I had to work hard. It was not easy. Especially with my accent, it was hard to communicate with the people, and it was not easy, but I made it happen, and it's just become a huge passion in my life.
Yeah. So Cynthia, can you elaborate on that path from, becoming interested in motorsports to, actually getting into Monster Jam? I saw that you started with the Maple Leaf Tour. So can you just talk about that path into the Monster Jam world?
Yeah, so to become a Monster Jam driver, it's not everybody have a different story. I know one driver that was a RC, an RC racer. So everybody have different path. Well, my path was really that I was really into racing, and I got the chance to be in a Monster Jam team, and I was a part of a crew. While I was racing buggies, I was able to follow a team on the road and kind of know the industry more and got to know the parts. And I think it's a good thing because I have so much more respect for my Monster Jam truck. I know what it is to work hard and to not sleep, to make sure our truck make it to the next show. But I wanted more. I wanted more than just being a crew and just being part of a team. I wanted to be the driver. So I actually met one of the higher up at a Monster Jam show, and I went and talked to him, and I told him, you know what, I'm pretty sure I'm a good racer and I can do really good. I'm super competitive, and I speak French, so it's a little bit different than other people. So if we have a show in France, I can actually communicate with the people. And just like next weekend, we're going to New Orleans. A little bit of people will speak French there. So it's pretty cool that we get to communicate with the fans too.
Absolutely. Now, can you describe the Maple Leaf Tour for me a little bit? How is it much different than what you guys do in Monster Jam, here in the States?
So the Maple Leaf Tour is a tour that is with Monster Jam. It's actually just a Canadian tour. I was really excited. I was nervous because I was going with Cam McQueen. I was kind of his teammate, but at the same time, when we're on the track, we're racers, so we're all there to win. And he have a huge following. He have a lot of skills. So for me, it was a big challenge to be behind him and trying to make my name. And being a woman is good and bad because people are super excited to see a woman in a man dominant sport. But at the same time, people are like, well, they're not sure you're that good driver. So you have to work even harder to show up and to show that you can beat the guys out there. And even, I would have to say, even beat the girls because they're so good now. It's really hard to, girls are just getting so much victory right now. So the Maple Leaf Tour was awesome because I was in my own country. I had a lot of support. It was, I have to say, I had so much respect for the truck that I was not running as hard that I wanted. I was so scared to break the truck. And so it took a little bit for me to really, develop my skills. So it was a big challenge.
Yeah, it's definitely a different mindset from, maybe drag racing where you don't want to break parts and ruin the car. Monster Jam is almost part of the show to really push the limits and wow the
Yeah.
crowd. So, yeah.
And some people don't know, but like, it's not just about like being lucky. I mean, you have to really have skills to drive those big Monster Jam trucks. And I realized that on my first year, because you can run really hard on the first hit and go really big. I did that, and you're done. After one hit, you can break the truck. So you have to be smart. You have to run hard, but you have to be able to fill up your time, because people won't give you a good score if you don't fill up your time. So you have to have that middle where you run hard, but you're careful and you use a lot of your skills. So it's really technical. I mean, it's physically demanding and mentally demanding.
Yeah, no, that's well put, and certainly part of the strategy as a driver. So Cynthia, you've been a driver of Monster Mutt Dalmatian for a number of years now. Do you want to talk a little bit about what that experience has been like for you?
Yeah, it's been amazing for me to be part with Monster Jam. I mean, it's like a second family. I just enjoy every moment. I get to travel. I get to do my passion. It's just been a dream come true, really, because if you don't know me, I'm actually in accounting. So I studied to be a CPA, and it was just so different. Like, I get to actually do what I love for work, and do with people that I love too, because with the COVID, I missed like a full year with them, and I hate every moment of it. Like, I was missing my family so much. But don't get me wrong, when we're on the track, there's no more family. We're there to win.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're also the first Canadian woman to compete in Monster Jam. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm exactly the first woman to do that full time. The first one to do a backflip. So yeah, it's been amazing journey. With the COVID, I took the time to actually look back, and I was like, wow, it's crazy the journey I done, and I'm not over. It's just, I was so scared to forget how to drive, and when I went back 2 weeks ago, it was just like I was there.
Yeah.
I was there. I was kicking butt out there, and I had so much fun.
Yeah. Now, I've also noticed that there's different iterations of the Monster Mutt truck. There's the Dalmatian, and then I saw there's Ice, and I think you're in one called Galaxy now. Can you talk a little bit about the different styles of it, and like when and where and why it changes?
The Monster Mutt Dalmatian has just been a truck that's been out there for a long time. Actually, one of the first driver was Candice Jolie. So for me to get to drive one of that truck, I was super excited. They had a lot of different versions, and kids love it. I mean, they love the fact that trucks are changing, that there's always like a team every year. I mean, the Ice and Fire was so much fun. And this year with the Galaxy, I think it's great. People love the purple in the truck and love the new design. People love change. And sometimes they like, some people like the old school. I have a chopped up Mercury Monster Mutt Dalmatian when I first started, but the windows were so small. It was so hard to get out of the truck. So I'm pretty excited I have that 3D body now. But yeah, I love the change, and I love the fact that people recognize the truck no matter what. And I mean, kids love the collection too. They love to have all the different color, and they get so excited to tell me, I got the purple, I got the blue, I got the white one. So for me, it's an honor to drive that truck.
Yeah, that's awesome. Outside of the Monster Mutt truck, is there another Monster Jam truck that you'd be excited to drive?
That's a good question. I mean, I'm a big time old school truck. I love vintage truck. I'm actually working on a F100 right now. So yeah, I definitely love Brianna's truck. I love the Gravedigger, the Ryan Anderson. I love all the truck that is actually a pickup truck body, because I'm a huge vintage old school truck.
Yeah, that's great. Now I know you've been asked this before, but can you describe your driving style out there? You know, what's kind of going through your head as you're out there doing a run?
I feel like I'm just like, it depends on the moment, and it's depend of the competition, because I can be the driver who can fill my time, but I can be the driver who's just don't care and just want to win and is ready to tear up the truck and put on a show. So I can be all kind of different drivers set, I would say, but in the last couple of years, I just been like out there to win. I don't care how the truck finish, and my crew guy always tell me, you can destroy it as long as it look good. If you make it look good, I won't be mad and I'll work all night to fix it. But if you make it look, stupid, like, I might be mad. So I always make sure there's always something cool come out of a crash, or I always try to bring back on four wheels. But I would have to say I'm kind of like, I'm pretty sure I'm one of the craziest one driver. I mean, I'm not scared to go big, and I'm not scared to go upside down.
Yeah, you're out there for the style points. Yeah.
Definitely.
Um, Now, in that regard, we've talked a little bit about, you know, it might look simple to fans, but there's a lot of, skill involved in, making these things live for the time you need to fill, and getting through an entire show. But, what are some of those favorite tricks that you have that you guys do in the monster trucks? And then what are some of the harder ones, for you personally that you guys have to try to pull off?
Well, one of the most amazing thing is the sport evaluates so much in the last couple of years. If you've seen a Monster Jam truck a couple of years ago, you have to come back, because it's just so different now. There's so much more technique to it, and every year driver are just getting so much better. Like, we come up with tricks that you're like, how this happened, and it's with control. That's what amazing me so much. But I have to say, I love backflip. There's just nothing that can replace a feeling of a backflip. Being like upside down for a fraction of a second and be able to control. And sometimes when you're out of control, there's something cool come out of it. There's nothing replaces a backflip feeling. And it's one of my favorite tricks for sure. But I love going big. I mean, I love jumping in the air, and I can think of what's going on, because I'm so I'm in the air for so long.
Yeah.
So I love going big. I definitely love those tricks where you can stay on two wheels, and I love wheelies, and I love walking wheelies, and I love doing bicycle. But I don't know. There's just nothing replaces big jump and backflip.
Yeah. Now, is there a trick that you guys, have to try to perform that has been a difficult one for you to learn?
I would have to say the moonwalk, the one that you stay on your front wheel and you go in reverse. Every time I try it, I always crash. I succeed a couple of times, but it is hard, because we don't get to practice. So when you want to try something new, you have to try it in front of a crowd, and you don't want to disappoint them. So it's hard to improve your skill, but you do have to do it. You have to try things, you have to push yourself, and you have to, because if you don't, people will, and you will stay behind. So you just have to stay up to date.
Yeah, absolutely. Cynthia, I wanted to ask you, again, you've been doing this for a few years now. Are there some moments or memories so far that stand out for you? I know one for me, watching you drive over the years was 2019 when you did the big air. That was a huge jump. That was awesome.
Yeah.
But for you, is there anything different that stands out?
I would have to say there's so many. But I have to say the high jump at the World Final in Orlando was probably one of my favorite, because just being at the World Final is a huge honor. I mean, it's some of the best driver out there, and being competing against Todd LeDuc, Tom Mance, I mean, all the other driver that was there in that competition. For me, it was just being in the competition. I was super excited, but I was so excited when I won, and that whole crowd. I mean, imagine like a 50,000, 60,000, crowd yelling your name and being so happy for you. It's just one of the best moments. I just felt like I was on top of the world.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. It's, like you said, being a Monster Jam driver gives you a lot of different opportunities, and it's cool you've gotten to experience a number of them.
Yeah, definitely.
And in that regard, is there, one aspect of the overall Monster Jam experience that you like the most about, being part of it?
I love being part of everything. I mean, I even work in the dirt crew at one point. I love, if I can work on the truck, help them. It's just like a big family, and every aspect of Monster Jam is fun. I love, I feel like knowing everything help you to become a better driver. So for me, the fact that I got to work on the dirt crew, I was able to learn more about the dirt, learn more about the jump, and know more about how to read a track. So it's some little detail that can make such a huge difference, because when we start the series, every point count. I mean, if you're off one weekend, you will probably not win the series. So you have to be on point every show. You have to be on top of your game. So for me, like everything I can learn and that can make me a better driver, I will use it.
Yeah, that's great. Cynthia, obviously we're talking a lot about, your driving and your Monster Jam time, but I know you have numerous other hobbies and, things you're into. And I saw you were on the Titan Games. Can you talk a little bit about that experience? Yeah. And, did you get to meet Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and all that?
Oh yeah, I got to hug him twice. Yeah, I mean, with the years, I feel like I had so many great experience, and I've been always really big into fitness. Being in good shape is important for me, even for my, for my sport, but even for me, I do it for myself because I want to be healthy. And I did a lot of CrossFit, boxing, all kind of sport. And when I got invited in the Titan Games with The Rock, oh, it was a huge challenge because with Monster Jam is a challenge to stay in shape on the road. I mean, you eat a lot of restaurant, you're in a gym hotel where there's not always a lot of things you can do. So for me, it was a big challenge, but I was ready to lift it up. And I mean, it was not easy. Some of the competitor there were so in shape. It was impressive, but wow, I would redo it any day. It was a great experience. It was really mental more than physically because it was quick. You had to be on top of your game the whole time. It was using your whole body, using your head too. I mean, I did not went really far in the competition, but just to be part of it, for me, it was a huge success.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's awesome. It's definitely something, you can say you got to do that
Yeah.
many people can't say. So that's awesome. Cynthia, you mentioned just a second ago being on the road, and you go to a lot of restaurants and you're in gym hotels or hotel gyms and that type of stuff. And it looks like you're on the road at the moment right now. Am I correct?
I'm actually in camping right now with my family. So my family is a big thing for me. I will always remember where I come from, and I have a huge family and we're really close. So it's not always easy. There's always bad side in anything. And for me, being on the road make me miss my family. So when I'm home, I'm trying to spend as much as time I can with them. They try to come to see me to couple show, but they work too. So it's not always easy. But I'm actually in camping right now. So I'm there with them this weekend, and after next weekend I'm out every weekend for almost 3 months. So trying to enjoy some family time before I go do some backflip.
Yeah, well, I definitely appreciate you giving me some of your time while you're out there camping. And but speaking of being on the road, is there a favorite city that Monster Jam visits that you have whether it's the city itself or the stadium or the arena that you guys get to compete in?
It's kind of funny because I've been never so much into like, balls games like football and baseball, but now that I've been going to so many stadium and arena, I just enjoying so much, and I love watching sport on TV and like remember me all the souvenir to each stadium, and I try to go visit like the players room and all those stuff. But each place we go with Monster Jam is special. Like, I just love traveling. I love meeting new people, and I definitely love going overseas. One of my favorite places was definitely Philippines. The people were so nice out there, and it was just so great to get to see a new culture for me. We went to Brazil, Europe, even going to France was pretty cool for me because it's I was able to speak French, but and I had to learn some new expression because it's a little different French there. But yeah, I just love the fact that we get to travel, and even sometimes if you cannot speak the language with the Monster Jam fans, you just have that connection, that smile and that energy, and you just see the kids being so excited, seeing those big wheels, those big KT, and I don't know, it's a special moment for me. And the language barrier doesn't affect me. I always had that accent, and sometimes it's not easy, but people can know how I feel just because I'm so energetic, and I love the fact that you can share those feeling with people even if you don't speak the language.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely something special that you get to experience with people around the world, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
Cynthia, we touched on it at the beginning of our conversation a little bit, that being a female in more of a male dominated motorsports industry, but kudos to Monster Jam in particular. There's a lot of female drivers out on the different circuits and series. But can you talk a little bit about what it's like for you as a female in motorsports? Have you faced certain criticisms or adversity for being female?
Well, Monster Jam was not my first rodeo. With motocross, it was probably one of the first place I raced, and I had to kind of made my place. But with motocross, I was racing in a woman class. Well, with Monster Jam, we race with the same equipment in the same series. It's one of the only sport, almost, if you think about it, that we race at the same level as guys. So I would have to say, just like I said earlier, there's good and bad. I would have to say almost every show there's people that come to me and they're like, "Are you just signing autograph?" And I'm like, or they go see right away my crew guy for autograph, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm the driver actually." And that's why every time I do win or I do good tricks, I always get out of my truck and I take off my helmet and show, "Hey, it's me." And I don't do that just for having the attention. I do it for inspiring other women and other little girls out there. And you know what? I always get message after every show. Dads or moms send me message like, "Hey, you inspire my little girl. Like she want to be out there and she want to be a racer." And for me, it just means the world. I mean, it's better than a paycheck. I just want to be out there inspiring. I mean, there's always negative in anything. You always get people like say, "Oh, she should have not won. She won because she was a girl." But I mean, we're hard on us. We don't need people to be hard on us. And I had driver come to me, other guys, and they're like, "You deserve this, and you're awesome. Like you had a great run." So I mean, we're usually pretty honest against each other. So we know sometimes when people don't deserve a victory. But yeah, I mean, there's bad moment, a harder moment, and but always try to keep the good one in my mind and stay positive.
Yeah, well, that's very well said, and a good outlook on everything, and definitely being an inspiration is probably the number one thing. So that's great.
Yeah, definitely try to
Yeah.
keep the positive.
Yeah. Cynthia, I'll leave you with one last question here, and I'll let you get back to your camping weekend.
Is it
Um,
gonna be in French?
um, just looking into the future, whether it's later this year, next year, a couple years out, what has you excited about, maybe motorsports in general or Monster Jam? What are you looking forward to?
I think there's no limit. I mean, if I would have to say I would knew what my future was, I had no idea. I mean, I study as an accounting, so it's kind of funny how doors open up and there's always new experience for me, and I'm always open to try new racing stuff. And but with Monster Jam, there's just no limit. There's always cool place to go, new trucks, they always come up with new technology on the truck. This year I have new suspension, it's a whole different technology. I just love trying new thing. And with Monster Jam, I'm in the right path. I mean, they're always there impressing me. So in the future, I just see going to new place, going to new country I never been, and trying new tricks. I'm always in to try new tricks. And this year it's a new chassis too. It's a whole different kind of, I have to get used to my driving skill with all the new technology on my truck. The fuel injection, and there's a lot of thing. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, well, that's great. I know I'm a fan of what you guys all do out there in Monster Jam, and it's certainly fun to watch. And again, I appreciate you giving us some of your time to be in this issue and talk to us this morning. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. Anytime.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you might want to discuss or just add on? If
Yeah.
not, yeah.
Yeah, I would love to tell people that to go follow us. I respond to everybody. I know a lot of people sometimes have questions and they want to know more about the industry. They want to know more about Monster Jam, how to get into this industry, and how to start, because sometimes you just don't know how to start if you want to be a racer, just like I am. So don't be shy to go message any driver. We always take the time to respond, and go follow me, because I always put some crazy video out there.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Cynthia, again, thank you so much. I appreciate you being with me this morning. And like I said, enjoy your weekend, and good luck this year in Monster Jam.
Thank you.